Hey guys, Jay here, and welcome back to another video. Guys, I'm super excited because today we're going to be talking about my rune guide specifically for PvP, and this is going to work both for arena and for guild versus guild, so I hope you guys enjoy it. But with that, let's get right into it. So first I'm going to be going over my current build, and then we're going to be jumping over to the Questlog to kind of show you guys the end game of what I'm looking for. But this is currently what my spread is for the gear that I have. And so really my gear is going to be focused, or my stat points are going to be focused on survivability, which is what I always talk about. And specifically in a guild versus guild environment, I always want to hit 70 strength because this just gives us that massive increase to our max health, melee defense, range defense. But also we get 40 perception because we get that 5% buff duration too. And with fortitude being a new stat, we want to invest in this to get to that 30 threshold so we get that extra 100 endurance, which is just really nice because this just helps us with our overall survivability. And then if you're able to get your wisdom past a 30 to get that extra max mana, that will also be super helpful. Now, while this is my guild versus guild build, I've actually been using this in arena, this spread, and it seems to be working pretty well. I do prefer having higher wisdom overall, and so sometimes in the arena specifically, I'll drop my fortitude just a little bit so that I can get my wisdom maybe up to 40, and then if I can get it to 50 to get that cooldown speed, that'd be super nice. But honestly, I've been doing pretty well with this spread, so hopefully this helps you guys in the arena, but really it's awesome for guild versus guild as well. So with that, let's move over into my gear pieces, starting with the weapons. So guys, from a PvP perspective, I've been doing a ton of testing between the Excavator wand and the Lycurius's coveted tome. And to be honest with you guys, I've started to realize that the Excavator wand just seems to be a little bit better for me personally. And the reason why is because if we look at the strength stats that it gives us a whole 12, which is really nice to get that 70 threshold in strength. But then it also gives us almost 2,400, or it does give us 2,400 max mana, which is just really nice for healing. Yes, in my opinion, the Lycurius's coveted tome passive is a lot better than the Excavator wand, but I think the trade-off with having, more max mana and that extra strength is pretty helpful. To be honest though, if you guys don't have the Excavator wand, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Just keep using the Lycurius's coveted tome because I've climbed pretty high, top 100 with the Lycurius's coveted tome. I think if you just want to elevate your healing experience a little bit more, then I would go for the Excavator scepter when you can. But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun using this, guys. It's been awesome for me. And so, yeah, basically I'm going to be rocking and rolling with this. You can see my runes. I have that strength bonus with the critical hit, with the critical hit damage reduction. And you're going to be seeing a lot of that through this. So I'm not going to get into my specific runes here, but notice the set effect that I get from that, or the synergy effect that I get is basically going to be centered around getting my strength up and getting survivability with that critical hit damage reduction, which critical hit damage reduction couples perfectly with endurance, which is really nice. And then guys, I'm also going to use the Carnix bow, again going for that synergy of red, blue, and yellow where I get that strength 3 and then also the critical hit damage reduction. So I'm going to be using these two guys. Feel free again to switch out the Lycurius's coveted tome if you want, but this is going to be the end game build that I specifically am going for. Next is the gear. So let's talk about the Shock Commander visor and also the Shock Commander plate armor. So guys, even though we have new armor pieces that give us fortitude, I still like rolling with the Shock Commander visor and the Shock Commander plate because yes, we get that damage reduction set effect bonus, which is really nice. But with the Shock Commander visor, I get strength and the cooldown speed, which is just super nice. I mean, that's like a 7% cooldown speed, which just goes well with our, aim to cast spells as quickly as possible, which is really nice. And then it also gives us max mana too, which overall helps our healing. I'll talk about the plate armor as well because this is, to me, it's still a no-brainer. We have 8 strength that it comes with, all the melee range defense, all the endurance, max health, and everything like that. And so this is just a really good survivability chest piece, specifically for PvP. I want the Forsaken Embrace because, again, we get 1,000 max health, we get damage reduction, all the defenses, max health. It's just a really nice cape for us while we're going into guild versus guild and arena as well. And then now I'm going to talk about the Ascended Guardian Gloves, guys. So essentially with Ascended Guardian Gloves, we get to that cooldown speed, which again couples so nicely with our Shot Commander Visor to increase our overall cooldown speed. And we get mana cost efficiency from the Ascended Guardian Gloves, plus all the endurances, defenses, and then same with the damage reduction that we get here. Get a little increase to our wisdom too, which is really nice, and that collision resistance. So that's really good too. So that's why I'm going to always go with these two for sure. Next is going to be the Sabatons of the Field General. So I go with this because we get that 8 strength, which is really nice. The movement speed is good because, you know, we're just super slow. But I also trade it with max mana, again, to increase our healing potential, and it just increases our healing output too, which is just really nice. So that's why I'm going to go with the Sabatons here. Next is going to be the Clasp of the Conqueror. So you'll notice my synergy for this one, I'm going to be going for the max health and wisdom. So that's the red, yellow, blue, because we want to increase our health as much as possible while getting some stat effects too, which is just really nice. And again, I'm going to go over to the individual runes when we get over to Questlog, but that's what I'm going to be going for. I'm always going to be going with the Clasp of the Conqueror, guys, for PvP. I know there's a couple PvP necklaces over in the arena shop and things like that, but honestly, I still think this is the best because we get strength and perception, which is just huge. Plus, we get max health, buff duration in the traits, which is just really nice. Now, I have Bind Chance here, to be honest. So I think I would switch this out for skill damage boost, guys. So I have that over in my final build on Questlog, but I use Bind Chance on this specifically because I was rolling with our Ensnaring Arrow, and so I wanted to ensure that I got that, so that's why I increased this. But feel free to switch that out. Next is going to be Braces of the Primal King. Interestingly enough, I actually don't go for a synergy. And there's a couple reasons why, but again, just stay tuned as we get into Questlog why I go or why I don't go for a synergy for this one specifically, and I'll get into that. But yeah, I'm always going to run with the Braces of the Primal King because we get debuff duration, skill damage resistance, perception +8, max health, all the really good things for our survivability. Next, I do have the Etched Alabaster Band. However, in my final build, I really want to go for that universal power. I know a lot of people are getting it when they're going through the transmutation and then also through the auction house. So if you're able to get the universal power, that's going to be the ring that I'm going to be switching this one out for. But if you can't get that, go for this one. And guys, for the synergy, I'm going to go for the yellow, red, blue because we get that cooldown speed, which again just goes with everything else we have, Shot Commander, Ascended set, and everything like that. And we want as high cooldown speed as possible so we can cast our spells quicker. Plus, we get that extra strength, which is just super nice because we're hitting that 70 strength threshold pretty easily with this setup. And then I'm going to go with the same synergy for the next ring, the Sapphire Dimensional Band. I keep this band because it's just so good. I mean, we get wisdom, we get range, perception, we get skill damage boost, buff duration, max health. Everything is just really good on this ring, guys. So this is going to be pretty much my end game ring for sure. And then I'm still going to go with that yellow, red, and blue synergy because we get cooldown speed +3% and that strength, which just, again, synergizes super well. Finally, for the belt here, so this is not my final belt. I would rather have the Belt of the Bloodlust, which is in my final build, but this is the one that you could switch out for the Bloodlust if you can't afford it right now, which obviously I can't afford it. It's so basically I'm going to be rolling with the Flamerot Bindings, but I'm going to go for the same synergy on the Bloodlust, where it's that red, blue, yellow to give us the damage reduction, and then also the critical hit damage reduction of 4%. This is a really good one too because we get a lot of max health, melee endurance, collision resistance, all that good stuff. So this is a really good alternative to the Belt of Bloodlust. But yeah, if you look at my current stats right now, You'll see that the max health, we're almost at 18,000. We have over 10,000 max mana, which is great. Mana cost efficiency is pretty solid. Our skill heal is great. I love having a high skill heal. You know, and then when we actually use our spells, this actually increases to over 100% during the day, which is really cool. That goes with our passives too. But yeah, look at our cooldown speed, guys, almost 30%, which is just insane. So don't sleep on cooldown speed, guys. Really try it out because you can use your skills a lot quicker and you can cast them out and save people, which is really nice too. But yeah, so with that, guys, this is my spread. This is my current gear. But let's jump over to Questlog and I'm going to get into the individual rune pieces. Alright guys, we are now over on Questlog, and guys, this is going to be my endgame build. Currently, I have it listed as PvP endgame Excav with runes, guild versus guild. Again, you can use this in arena, and I have been doing it in arena, and so I think it's really effective there. Let me know if you guys want a separate video for arena, but I'm going to be really talking about the runes, which don't change between arena and guild versus guild. So let's get right into that, starting with the Excavator wand, guys. So this is going to be, well, before the Excavator wand, this is going to be our end game setup. Oops, I forgot to add a skill point there, which is fine. But yeah, so basically, these are the stats that I'm going to be going for. As you guys saw previously, I wasn't able to hit the the 40 wisdom threshold, which gives us that debuff duration. But when we have the universal power and the bloodlust, we're able to hit pretty nice stats here. And what's really cool is we get that 30 fortitude, which just really helps our survivability. So this is what I'm going to be going for. But now let's get into the runes, starting with the Excavator wand. The weapons are going to be exactly the same. I don't change anything between the Carnix Netherbow and the Excavator wand, just because it keeps consistency and I really like the rune effects. So if you look at the rune effects here, I go for the red, blue, yellow to give us this rune synergy effect, which is strength 3 plus the critical hit damage reduction. Oops, sorry about that. Of 6%. Guys, I really want you to try to go for this one because you can get that 70 threshold as well as getting increased critical hit damage reduction, a flat percentage, which honestly a flat percentage is better than, say, if it was like damage reduction 6 or whatever, because this is a percentage which will knock down anyone's damage towards you, which is nice. And then for the red one, I'm going to go for the buff duration at 3%. Blue, I'm going to go for max health. And then finally, the yellow, I'm going to go for the skill heal plus 3%. And the reason why I do all these is because we're a support, we're a main healer, guys. And so we want as high buff duration and as high skill heal as possible. And then I go for max health because that just helps us with our overall survivability. Again, this does not change when I go over to my Carnix Netherbow. So as you guys can see, I'll just pull it up here just to make it a little bit more clear. So the buff duration plus 3%, max health 360, and the skill heal 3% as well, giving us that rune synergy effect here. Now, again, if we look over on this, you could go for a wisdom, 3 plus the debuff duration. However, I think that critical hit damage reduction is going to be a little bit more effective overall because it synergizes so well with endurance. And so that's why I'm going for that. And then you guys see here, there's that damage reduction 9. Again, that just goes into the overall damage reduction. So it literally just reduces 9 damage reduction. I would rather have a percentage because that's going to be more reduced damage overall. All right, so that's the weapons, guys. We don't have anything for the major gear pieces, so we move all the way down to the necklace. So for the necklace, I'll click on this too. I'm going to go for the yellow, blue, red set effect, or excuse me, I keep saying set effect, rune effect, and that's going to give me my wisdom 2 plus the critical hit damage reduction. If we go over to why I picked the synergy, it's because I don't really use or don't need dexterity for this build specifically. If you're trying to go for that 30 dexterity, it might be useful for you to switch this over, but I'm going to recommend going for the wisdom so that we can hit that 40 threshold. And then we also get critical hit damage reduction, which again is just super nice. And then I'm always going to go for skill heal whenever I can get it. And so I'm going to get that plus 3% max health on the blue and then hit chance on the red. Now, if we pull up the red, really there's not very many good ones in my opinion that could be replaced for this. They don't even have heavy hit chance. They have boss heavy attack chance. But if they had heavy attack chance, I would probably go for that over hit chance. But I like the hit chance because it helps us with our tornadoes, our flash waves, and our sleeps as well. And so that's why I'm going to roll with this. Moving into the bracers, guys, this is a really cool one because I'm using a chaos rune. Now, what's unfortunate is I'm pretty sure we're unable to get chaos runes at the moment. So I'm going to talk about this and then I'll talk about a replacement one if you're able to get the chaos rune in the future. And so essentially when I decided not to get any of the synergies, and the reason why is because when we look over here at the synergy list for the rare section, I really don't see anything that is really that beneficial. Yes, the only one that I really think could, or the two that I think could be good, would be like the max health with added attack speed, because that just helps us, with survivability and casting our spells quicker. And then maybe the bonus damage, because we're able to heal a little bit more with the max health. But honestly, I just don't think these are that great. And so that's why I was like, you know what? Would it be cool if we just decided to invest in mana cost efficiency across the board? Now, if we look into this, we can't get skill healing. And so on the bracers specifically, and so I'm going to be going for the next best thing, which I think is mana cost efficiency, because it gives us that flat rate of 3% increase. Now, you could switch this out for skill damage resistance for more survivability, but honestly, I thought it'd be kind of cool to go with mana cost efficiency, because with the Excavator wand, or excuse me, not with the Excavator wand, with our wisdom, because we don't have 50 wisdom to give us even more mana and skill cooldown, we can get mana cost efficiency to kind of make up for that. So basically, it just allows us, whenever we cast a spell, it's not as impactful with our mana, which is really nice, or it's not as a negative impact to our mana as if we didn't have this. And so the reason why I went mana cost efficiency across the board is because we get a total of 10% extra mana cost efficiency, which I just think is super nice, and it couples really well with our Ascended Guardian gloves. And so I'm going to roll with that for both the yellows. And then finally the Chaos Rune, we get a plus 4% here. And so again, if you can't, since we can't really get the Chaos Runes right now, what I would switch this out with is I would switch it out with a blue one of the blue runes, and then I'd go for max health. So that's what I personally am trying to do right now on my current build. But I like to keep this on the Chaos Rune for you guys. And I'll have the link in the description for sure. But essentially, we get that mana cost efficiency, and it just gives us 10%, which I think is really nice. So yeah, this is an interesting one. I'd love to hear what your guys' thoughts are on it. If you guys think these are better, let me know. But I think this is kind of a cool concept to have one that actually didn't have a synergy. All right, so now we're moving into the rings. So with the rings, guys, I'm going to move right into the Band of the Universal Power. And again, this is my endgame ring, which is what I'm going to be shooting for. And hopefully you guys are able to get it. But here is the rune synergy effect. And so essentially, I'm going to be going for that strength plus 2, but then we also get the cooldown speed of 3%. So you could go for the max health if you wanted to, but honestly, I think this cooldown speed is just awesome because we're not able to hit that 50 wisdom. We're able to make up for that through the rings using the cooldown speed. And then this also gives us that strength so that we hit our 70 threshold. Again, I'm always going to go with skill healing if I can. Now, I didn't mention this earlier, but say you can't get skill healing, then honestly, the next thing I would get is anything to help you with resistances. Some people would probably go for collision resistance if that's the only one you have, and then also anything to do with healing. So healing received might be okay for you, or Amatoy healing might be good as well. But I would go for something that kind of goes for resistance if you're unable to get skill heal. But really try to go for this, guys. Now for the red, I don't have a hit chance on the red for the ring specifically, and all of these ones I'm not really impressed with, so I'm just going to go for the critical hit chance because this increases our critical hit healing, which is really helpful too overall. So that's why I went for this, because I'm not really impressed with the other runes you can get. And then finally, nothing changes with the blue. I go for that max health, which is really cool. And this does not change to my second ring, guys. So the second ring, it's going to literally have the same things: skill heal, critical hit chance, max health, with the strength and cooldown speed synergy effect. So I won't talk about that too much. And then finally, the Belt of the Bloodlust, if you're able to get this. It's not going to change if you have the Flame Rot bindings. It's not going to change the synergy effect that I have on this, but we'll talk about it real quick. So I'm going to go for the red, blue, yellow synergy effect because, yes, we get this damage reduction, which this just synergizes with our Shot Commander set overall. And yes, like, it's only a flat 6, right? So we're not going to be seeing too much value there, but really what I get it for is that critical hit damage reduction of 4%. If we go over here to look at, okay, what is everything that we can get? Yes, you could go for the max health with the damage reduction. However, getting a flat percentage of critical hit damage reduction, I think synergizes super well with the rest of our kit. And it allows us, or it also synergizes well with endurance too. And so that I thought was the best one. So I just figured, okay, if I can get that flat percentage, it would just increase everything, or increase our survivability overall. But yeah, so hit chance for here, guys, because there's nothing really else that's effective. There's no critical hit chance or heavy attack chance. So that's why I'm going to go for hit chance there. And then nothing changes with max health. Now, at the bottom here, I went for the skill damage resistance. You could go for more mana cost efficiency, but because we got that 10% earlier, I figured that having a little bit of survivability would be nice, especially skill damage resistance. I think skill damage resistance just helps our overall survivability. And since we don't have skill healing, that's why I'm going to go for this one, just to give us that survivability. So yeah, that's my rune synergy for that one. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for my rune guide. I really hope it helps you. I'm going to put this in the description, guys, and with my character builds too. If you just click on my name, you'll be able to see other ones too. I have one for the Lucurius' Coveted Tome, so be sure to check that one out as well. And essentially, that's if you don't have the Excavator wand. But this is what I'm going to be using for both Arena and Guild versus Guild. I might, change around some of my stats for Arena to get more wisdom. But to be honest, this has been really effective having this spread. Make sure you get that 70 strength. Make sure you get this 30 fortitude. And then get perception up as high as you can so you can hit those flash waves and tornadoes. And then 40 wisdom to get those extra stats. But yeah, guys, let's look at my final stats and then we'll wrap up the video. So if we look over here on the right side, damage reduction, pretty nice, but we look at our melee defense and everything, range defense, really solid overall, really solid spread in my opinion. Melee endurance, probably a little bit lower. You could get melee endurance higher if you had more survivability gear. So if you got rid of like the Ascended Guardian set, you could probably get more endurance based off of those. But I think it's pretty good overall. And then if you look at our max health, 18,000, guys, with 11,000 max mana. Our mana cost efficiency is at almost 27%. Cooldown speed is at 35%. Our skill heal is good. And then also our buff durations, 46%. I mean, debuff and our skill resistance. So I think these are pretty solid stats overall. Yes, you could push your max health even higher if you ran different pieces. But honestly, I think 18K is pretty good for where we are right now, guys. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to let me know in the comments what you think of it. If you guys have better ideas for the synergies, let me know. I've gone over this a lot. You guys know I like to be thorough, so I like to do the best that I can. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll see you in the next one.